And Don, Keri, how you guys doing?
Really good. I'm digging your backdrop.
Yeah, I had the black and white for me, so I blend into it, but it seemed distracting, so I turned that off. But yeah, you guys are doing a Kickstarter for Uncle Roy. What can you? I read a little bit about it, but probably sounds better coming from you guys. What can you tell me about Uncle Roy and what this new documentary is?
Roy Blakey was a legend in many communities. The figure skating community revered him because of his long career as a ice skating performer. But then since he was 10 years old, he started collecting the history of theatrical figure skating, and he made the largest archive of this history. It totaled 44,000 pieces. And he's also a pioneer in the world of gay photography. And he did a groundbreaking book in 1972 called He. Sorry about the noise. Can you hear that? And
If you have like an elder guy coming up out of the ocean, it's fine.
and so he and I didn't really know him growing up, but he and I bonded when I moved to New York City in the early 80s. And I think his career as a photographer helped inspire my own career as a photographer. And so over time, his story turned me into a filmmaker because I did the film The Fabulous Ice Age in 2013 about the history that his archive contains. And for all these years, I've been filming him and hoping to do something more personal about his life. And now here we are. That's what Uncle Roy is.
Yeah. And so you got the Kickstarter. What are you guys looking to raise? And what's I guess this is you have the footage, but this is for finishing the documentary, if I'm correct?
We're raising $40,000 in 40 days. And actually we launched yesterday and we've already hit the 25% funded stage. So we're feeling pretty good, knock on wood, about that. The film is at rough cut stage. So the funds would be going towards final finishing of the film, the original music composition and animations and graphics, particularly around these photos to bring them to life, that kind of thing. So yeah, we're in the final stretch with the goal being submission to festivals starting in early fall.
What are some stretch goals you guys got for, I'm guessing the 40,000, this is the bare minimum we need to finish it. But hey, if we get 1 million, then maybe we could add a Robert Downey Jr. or something into it. Or
I think we have a very long stretch goal list, including essential items like color correction and sound sweetening, and publicity is a huge part. I know that most films have a publicity and marketing campaign that mirrors their production campaign or their production costs. And we really hope to have an impact with this film in a number of areas. And so the stretch goals are many, but I would say the next steps would be color correction and audio sweetening and having money to apply to the film festivals.
yeah. And I don't know how many people watching this have seen, I haven't seen all of your work, but I have seen Finding Her Beat, loved it. Minnesota Mean, also awesome. And so I'm excited to see Uncle Roy. But yeah, anyone donating to this, don't know what Uncle Roy is going to be exactly, but I can tell you it's going to be a banger. But
yeah, the trailer, the sizzle reel, is been getting a tremendous amount of wows. I would say that is the major response that people say is wow. And so that's a really good sign. The sizzle reel is on uncleroyfilm.com. And of course, you can just search for Uncle Roy Film in Kickstarter.
Yeah. What's some of the challenges you guys have putting this together? I know in the thing you said you have decades of footage to go through, which that in and of itself is a challenge, but also in putting the movie together and then doing a Kickstarter. I've never done a Kickstarter before or any crowdfunding, but I've heard that's a separate job in and of itself.
Yes, I would say it really is. And the other thing that has been challenging is that we really started the editing process over a year ago while I was still filming. And because of me being in the film, which believe me, Eric, I never thought in a million years that I would be in one of my own films. I'm one of these filmmakers that really doesn't even like to hear the director ask a question off camera. And so here I am asking questions off camera and I'm in the film. And so this edit and this approach to the film really needed some outside perspective. And so Dawn has been editing the film as well as producing.
Yeah. And what goes behind that? Because I know that in documentaries, some like on Michael Moore documentary, for example, he's like front and center in most of his documentaries. And then you have other documentaries where it's just the people. But what's your thoughts on that? You seem uncomfortable with that, but do you have like any sort of moral objections to that or anything?
All moral objections have been thrown out the window, and I'm embracing whatever is needed to tell the story at hand. And so I've never felt that it was appropriate for me to be in or visible in any of my other films. But this one, because it's about my uncle and the way that he inspired many, including myself, it seemed really important for me to be in it. And my participation grew over time. Dawn can speak to that as well.
I will say that it's definitely a story about Roy, but it's also a story about friendship and memory and legacy and all of these things. And Keri's really a part of those stories of memory and legacy. In the end, Keri knew Roy's story better than he did. And so she takes the reins forth with the torch or whatever at some point in his life when he can no longer do these things for himself. And so I think that's important that this film is about Roy, but it's also about that meaning and memory and legacy piece and how we care for our elders and how it's a cyclical relationship, right? Like they care for you when you're younger, and in the end, you're caring for them. And it was critical to have Keri front and center. And as much as she struggles with it, I think she has reached the stage where she's, oh yeah, I probably should be in this.
I will say the sizzle reel, it set up the hook because going quickly who Roy is. And then I didn't know Roy from anyone. And then halfway through that sizzle reel, it takes a turn. It's like, oh, and then towards the end, it takes another turn with this picture here. It's like, oh, cool. So it's like you got the hook. But then also in documentaries like this, it's almost like the story is what grabs your attention and pulls you into it. But then when you sit there, you're there for the characters. Because now all of a sudden, maybe the story doesn't matter so much. I just follow in the characters and want to see more about them.
I think that makes sense. There's a sense of intimacy in documentaries, right? That if done well, you really get a sense of who this person is or who these people are, and they become your friends. And I certainly, now I have a bias because I feel like Keri is a friend, but because the film is edited by a friend, you will also, in addition to the gorgeous footage that Keri has created and Roy's created, this film is full of Roy's work as well, from 8mm film back in the 50s and 60s. It really is an intimate story where you get to know these people and I hope feel like they're family.
What were some discoveries you made along the way? Because I'm guessing with all that footage, you probably came across something like, oh, hey, that's news.
Keri, do you have any?
No, I'm telling you, I knew almost everything that was in there because I made it or have combed through it. But what I was surprised at is when we would be moving through the edit and all of a sudden one other group of gems would show up in the edit and I would go, wow, she is really digging through the footage. And I think Dawn did an amazing job of thoroughly examining all the footage, even though there was so much. But that's why it's taken over a year to edit this film. I think most films that have as much footage as we do take that much time.
And Don, how many pots of coffee did that take to go through all that footage?
So much coffee to the point where I stopped having coffee because it was giving me tremors.
You upgraded the crack. I got you.
Yeah, I think that Dawn has made 7 or 8 films, and this is my 4th feature film because my first career was as a photographer and a author and a photojournalist. And so I think that for both of us, the hallmark of our work is really telling stories that are marginalized and that are not often seen. And so I do believe that this film will be incredibly unique. And I also guarantee that it's emotional. And that it will open your heart and help you to access your feelings. And for me, I know when I'm a huge cinema person, I just love movies. And I'm so appreciative when filmmakers can make me cry. I really feel like they've given me a great gift to touch my humanity, to open and to access and to activate my inner humanity. So I'm hoping for people's hearts to be opened up and that they examine and look at their own families and their own situations and maybe be influenced by Roy and I.
I mean, this is coming from both of you, so I have every reason to believe you guys will do just that. And I love having you guys on. Hope to have you on again, and can't wait to see Uncle Roy and whatever else you guys got in the future. Don, Keri, thanks for joining me. And one last time, what's the Kickstarter project and where can people donate to that?
It's Uncle Roy on Kickstarter. So you just have to search that and you will find Uncle Roy.
And if you'd like
to
stay keep up with us, it's super important to join our mailing list at uncleroyfilm.com.
Don, Keri, thanks for joining me. And yeah, wish you all the success.
Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.